everybody, it's your main man Shade, and I'm back to talk to you again about our topic for this week on Team Talk NEWARK. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit called freedom. Now, let's be real here. How many people of you honestly think you guys have enough freedom? And yes, I'm asking mainly you guys as the teens, because to be honest, we have a lot of stuff on our plates that a lot of people don't seem to understand. We got life, we got relationship, we got parents, mostly parents. But to be honest, freedom is a problem of my own that I think everybody should be able to confront. And if we don't, then it's going to be one of those things where it just pushes us down and we're not even aware it's there anymore. So let's just dive into our topic for today. Now, what is freedom? Now, my own personal definition is freedom is a state of being able to do and think and say of what you want to do without any restrictions. Now, how many of you honestly can say that you guys can do a lot of things that you want, say what you want, or even think what you want without any restrictions? I'll let you figure that out for a second. Okay, time's up. Now, you see, the problem with that is most of you guys answered, I have a few restrictions, but they don't seem that serious. But what a lot of people don't realize is freedom is something that should be given at all costs, even to people at a young age. Especially if you're going out into the world and you're going to be free eventually. Why do parents think it's a good thing to take away certain freedoms while keeping some intact? Now, personally, I like to think that parents see themselves as, oh, I need to take care of my children in certain ways. If I give them too much freedom, they'll run wild. And while I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it can be very bad for how you grow up. Did some of you grow up wrong because of not having enough freedom? No. Did some of you grow up wrong for having too much freedom? Also no. But, like I said before, it's all about balance. Now, how does freedom affect you on a daily basis? Well, if you would think, freedom to say things, like in our Constitution, freedom of speech, it helps a lot when you have a lot to say on your mind, but no exact way how to say it without hurting somebody's feelings. Freedom of movement, like being able to do what you want, is also a type of freedom that you would like to express, especially when you need to go places to live a certain way. To be honest, getting serious with you, freedom is an important part of our life, as it is. Young, old, any type of race, and any type of mentality and gender. Freedom is a big part of how you act, so you need to make sure that you protect that part of yourself, but not to the point where all you think about is doing what you want to do. All I'm saying is, make sure to find a balance between freedom and anarchy, because trust me, nobody wants an anarchist running around the streets. Now, that's all I have for this time on this subject today, so make sure you come back later to see more of me at my channel or at this channel here on Teen Talk NEWARK, and for then, later.
Welcome to Young Critics, where we review things and give updates on real life news. Today we will talk about gun violence, and we will give you a brief background on our community. See our rage against gun violence.
Today, our special guest will be Mr. C, aka Mr. Urban Wall Street.
You already know. It's good, brothers. It's a blessing to be a part of your production. It's some great topics, so I'm definitely interested in hearing what you have to say and talk about.
Okay. Now, first we'll give you some information. Now, did you know that people have the right to bear arms due to the Second Amendment, which states that U.S. citizens have the right to bear arms?
Do you believe people should use guns as self-defense?
I definitely believe, guns should be used, for self-defense in certain regards. I don't think everybody should just have a gun. I personally think you should be able to defend yourself with your hands. So.
Welcome back to Teen Talk NEWARK.
What's up, guys?
This is Brian and I'm Akai. Our next segment is fighting. School fightings, any types of
fighting
fighting.
in general.
Let's just put it like this. If a fight isn't professional, I have a question for you, because I know you're into that type of stuff. If a fight isn't professional, say like UFC or boxing, should you do it?
No. I feel like if a person doesn't know anything about fighting in general, if you're going into a fight, you're going to black out, and I feel like that's very wild and dangerous.
And a lot of the fights that happen on the street is because, mostly because, they have a lot of anger built up in them, or that they just feel as though they have to impress their friends, so they go ahead and do
some people
stuff
like to, take the anger off other people.
Being the school that we are in, there is a lot of fights that happen in Behringer. And what would you say would be the main cause of those fights?
Unnecessary drama, to be honest.
And
Just a bunch of BS.
and a lot of stuff like things that happen at home, a lot of stuff like that can transfer into why things like that happen, like fighting and all of that. One of the main reasons of fighting, I'd say in Newark, would be gang related.
Respect.
Like, I don't understand. I never understood that. You know, I understand it's about respect and all of that, but
There's,
and
like,
I have an
say-
uncle. Yeah.
Like, sorry to cut you off, but like, say I beat up everybody in the school, they're gonna fear you. That's the respect. That's your reputation. You feel me? That's why people, some people fight. They're known for fighting. I know a couple people that just fight just to fight.
I have an uncle who's also a gang member. He's gang related. He has told me, you know, he just wants respect, and you know, if he'd rather kids my age not just be into gang related things like that, he'd want them to pass on school, be successful, not even worried about stuff like that. But you know, it happens, and that.
I mean, sometimes it's not really about just gang related. Sometimes, like, you know, survival of the fittest. You gotta fight to survive.
And a lot of that has to do with like bullying and stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
And sometimes, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, never fight, never stand up for yourself, but sometimes, you know, it's a place and time to do things, and you should pick your fights.
Know when to fight and know when not to fight is a key to winning every battle, pretty much.
You know, not every fight you can win. You're gonna end up losing some. You're gonna win some.
But that doesn't, hold on. But that doesn't mean like just because you feel like you gotta. It's like off topic, but like, you gotta believe in yourself. You feel me?
You do have to believe in yourself. I'm not saying that. Say it's like David versus Goliath, basically. I'm not saying if you're David, you can't beat Goliath. But I'm saying at the same time, you know when and where to pick your battles. If it's not worth fighting, don't even worry about it. Walk away from the situation.
Or just duke him in the face.
And I feel as though, like, another thing about fighting is that when people do actually fight, they don't understand the consequences that come with it.
Questions, yeah, that's fine.
Like, say if you were to get caught on the street fighting, people don't understand that they can actually get arrested for stuff like that.
And you're gonna get hurt as well.
Especially if you go overboard with it.
I seen that a lot. Like, I seen street fights on World Star, just Facebook. The person's already beat down on the ground, and it's like they're stomping the head off. You know, I'm like, all right, bro, you killed him. Like,
And sometimes it goes from that, and you know, once you go overboard with stuff, I feel as though you need to seek help, because if you're too angry about things where they just over and over again fight, and like you start bleeding and you're just enjoying that, I just think you need to go get help.
I mean, is there the environment that you're from? Some people are used to getting see people, you know, just dog. It's like I'm used to it. I'm used to seeing people get punched in the face and all that, and it's just people are probably not raised that way, but after you've seen things so many times, you're used to it.
Going back to school fights, why do you think that there's so much hostility coming from the people who end up fighting?
I mean, from what I hear is like they just want to like show how much pride they have and just fight.
Is it worth it in the end though?
And in the moment, to them, it feels like it's everything, but it's like sex, pretty much. Like you want it, but you don't need it. You feel me? That's what you want. You want to fight. You want to go, you know, prove that you're up here, but you don't.
And then afterwards, you kind of regret.
Yeah, that's why when I got my last fight, the same thing happened to me. It's like, I beat the kid, but then I'm like, why did I fight? There's no point.
Yeah. Well, that has been Teen Talk Newark. I hope you guys join us next week. And this has been Brian. I'm Makai. Thank you for joining us.